Hello everybody, and of course welcome once again to the ESPL Weekly Series number 5. This is Game 2 between Team Druckwelle and Top 5 in the semi-finals. So once again, Top 5 banning out this Ember Spirit right away, and it just crushes me. All I want to do is see this new hero being played by some good teams, some strong teams, some good contenders. And damn if it isn't hurting me to see him just out of the pool every single time. Of course, joining me today is the handsome Mito.
Oh man, why can't top 5 just have some mercy? Just let the Ember Spirit through. Please, please, please. I hope we get game 3 and hopefully that happens.
I don't know, dude. They've been banning it either first or second ban every single time, and this is just a team that looks like they never want to be up against it. Maybe they just can't deal with his, of course, fiery goodness, but damn if it's not really hurting me to not see that guy get played. Hopefully sometime, either in the finals or the next set of semi-finals, we shall see, but not at this very moment, it looks like. And damn, if not a little bit unfortunate. They do pick up an Invoker, however, and he's been a hoot to watch so far in his Quas Wexness, running around in Viz, going basically like a Nyx assassin and ganking pretty much every support in the jungle he possibly can. So at the very least, we have that to look forward to. But still,
yeah, I mean, with Invoker being picked up, it feels like this might be a different strategy. Invoker being like the quote-unquote jack of all trades, can do essentially almost anything apart from tanking in the game. So yeah, with Invoker being picked up, Druckwelle needs to think slightly longer about what they want themselves. Wouldn't be surprised if they pick up the Nature's Prophet again though. They seem to be able to run that hero really efficiently. And for tournaments, why not just go with the things you're familiar with, and if they're not getting countered, then who's to stop you?
Oh yeah, and
surprising though.
Like you said, they ran that Nature's Prophet brilliantly last game, and looks like today or I should say this game, gonna be no exception. And of course, just with only Invoker already in there, gonna make Top 5 really play their game, it appears. And the Nature's Prophet, Crystal Maiden, once again, pretty sure those are the exact picks we saw last time, pretty much the exact bans as well, trying to make sure that there is no... They just seem to hate Enchantress 1 and make sure that Nature's Prophet doesn't have to go up against a Nyx assassin.
Crystal Maiden was on top 5's lineup last game.
Right.
Yeah, but Druckwelle, Nature's Prophet... Oh, and there we go. I was wondering last game, was like, how come we didn't see the Timbersaw or like Whistleback getting picked up or being banned out? Like, those heroes just slip right through. Now you have one of the ultra good counters against Nature's Prophet. Timbersaw doesn't care about tree and harassment. It's like, the more you harass, yeah, the more regen I get and more armor I have, and you just can't right click me down. Hopefully top 5, they're gonna look to go make some big plays happen, go for aggressive trial lane, and just crush all 3 lanes with the kind of heroes they have.
I mean, yeah, here's hoping. We'll see how everything pans out. Obviously, you have Timbersaw against Nature's Prophet in the lane, or, I mean, maybe they could try and go for a try, but even against a Timbersaw, you're going to have a really hard time actually finding any kills there. So, I'm just not too sure exactly how they're going to make everything pan out. They banned the Doom right away, so top 5 looking like they're trying to take care of some of these greedy heroes, and obviously seeing that Visage was pretty potent for Team Druckwelle last time, taking him out despite how many times he was caught alone by the bounty hunter didn't seem to really matter. And it does look indeed like top 5 going to be running a different sort of strat at the very least. And you do have Timbersaw to take out Nature's Prophet, but I think right now he still seems like he's going to be a huge nuisance for top 5.
Top 5 should look to put on the pressure. If you give heroes like Nature's Prophet and Crystal Maiden a lot of space, right, then they're just gonna run a jungle Crystal Maiden, and Nature's Prophet just gonna have a good time in the off lane pulling creeps. Whereas if you run aggressive, you're forcing the Crystal Maiden to say, hey, you gotta come to the lane. If you go anywhere else, we're just gonna constantly kill everyone there. Oh yeah, that's another hero. Finally seeing like him getting banned out, Slug. That was been another great pick for top 5. Now I'm thinking about Bane Elemental would be a great pickup for top 5. Sets up the Sunstrike nicely, as well as having... Okay, see, there you go. I was thinking about the Bane. in conjunction like with, well, not in conjunction with, but like up against the lifestealer. You're expecting a lifesteal bomb, then the Bane Elemental, boom. That's a perfect answer to a lot of things. Setting up skills for your team, disabling the lifestealer, running aggressive trial lane, cast Enfeeble on the lifestealer, he can't get last hits. When he rages, you just use Fiend's Grip. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, and there's the Bane.
As predicted.
Yeah, my one fear, though, and of course this hero that's still in the pool, we saw him played yesterday for some really strong effect in that game, is Silencer, of course. And Silencer completely takes Invoker, Timbersaw, and Bane out of every single team fight. Not to mention, you just wait for that Fiend's Grip every single time and let your Lifestealer do his job. So he's still in the pool. Puck serves at least somewhat of a similar means with that silence of his, Waning Rift, of course. But, I mean, Silencer is still in the pool, man. I want to see him.
Yeah, it's not necessary to pick him up so early, but this does look very reminiscent of the lineup yesterday. It's essentially the same, and if it gets completed by Silencer, then it's gonna be great. I just wonder if Top 5 actually watched our streams yesterday, and well, even though we weren't on Twitch, we did in-game casts, and if they know it, they should ban it.
Yeah, exactly. If they paid attention yesterday, had maybe done a little bit of research on Druckwelle, they would know that they're not adverse to running that Silencer, and against a lineup that looks to be pretty darn magic heavy with a Bane no less to counter the Lifestealer, almost exactly the exact same lineup, I want to say. This looks so similar to what Druckwelle was running yesterday that, I mean, I would not be surprised if Silencer made an appearance. At the very least, they still do have a ban available, so they don't need to like pick up the Silencer themselves, which of course is not what you want to do right now, but I'm just expecting to see that ban right now.
Well, Top 5, they gotta pick the hero first. Let's see, what options do they have? Obviously, like, the go-to one is Mirana, but I don't think that's the best choice they have. That means you're limited to a lot of single target, and your only setup initiation essentially will be the Bane. Until later stages when Invoker gets some items, Timbersaw gets some items, whatnot. And the Disruptor is going to be the answer. Oh, so we're going to see a Sleep into Static Storm. That would be wicked as well.
Oh yeah, and I mean Disruptor, one of those heroes that he can really segment team fights in an interesting way where somebody pops in, maybe Puck does, and he sees him get in there, and a simple glimpse away, and he can really kind of fracture exactly what you're expecting. But I don't know, he's a pretty darn squishy hero, and once again, if Silencer is still picked up, Disruptor just falls off completely, and the more and more magic damage that it looks like Top 5 starts to run, and because they really don't have any physical DPS right now at all, unless they go some sort of craziness like carry Invoker, they need to be so careful, and they don't ban out the Silencer, so he's obviously still in the pool. They do ban out the Rubik wisely because they have a lot of strong spells to steal, but I mean, who cares about stealing when you just stop those spells from being cast entirely?
I want to see a big last pick from Top 5. I want to see a Spectre. That would be something great to have in your lineup. Timbersaw alone. It's just like the thing about Timbersaw is he's a tanky hero.
Boom.
But he's not really. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So Top 5, they were not watching yesterday apparently, but so this might have been a surprise pick, or they just simply have to answer themselves. They're like, yeah, we can deal with him, no worries. But I would love to see a Spectre. Just seeing the number of okay, this is awesome as well.
They got a Faceless Void, and they do actually have, there's your combos. You have Meatball, Faceless Void, but just having Chrono into Disruptor ult, if they catch out 2, maybe even 3 in it, I mean, that's going to be a 1 team fight pretty much guaranteed. The only saving grace, I think, is maybe Silencer doesn't get caught out, pops the Global Silence, and tries to at least mitigate the damage that Top 5 can throw out somewhat. But I mean, still a very dangerous game to play, very scary, and I like the Faceless Void pickup, man. I've been loving him running around all crazy like with 1000 move speed in his Chronos.
Who moves faster, Bloodseeker or Faceless Void?
It just
depends.
Right? Just depends how many heroes are hurt. What does Bloodseeker have?
I'm already having problems with like Faceless Void moving so fast. And then have you seen that ridiculous race car Bloodseeker when like the enemy team has a bunch of meepos with low HP and then everyone's below half?
Oh yeah, and he just runs. He's got like 3,000 obscene moves, or like 1,800. It's just ridiculous. But looks like we got a little bit of lag going down, and gives us plenty of time to introduce the players. Obviously, we have Miffy or Miffy gonna be playing this Crystal Maiden. Dwarkit Baby gonna be the silencer. Cube as the puck. Subarc once again. This lifesteal seems to be loving that, and Marky as the Nature's Prophet, making a lot of work happen last game. Mito, my friend, would you like to take these top 5s in the Radiant?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Shanks will be playing as a support, Bane Elemental. Wrong, gonna be playing as an offlaner again, but this time on the Timbersaw. Fly is gonna be your mid solo Invoker. 3-2-1 gonna be a support disruptor, and finally we have 1-2-3 playing as the Faceless Void, and he has a Battle Fury. Oh man, I miss that item so much. It just looks so awesome when you're holding that Battle Fury.
And also it gets a
I've always
special
wished
proc,
it had
right?
some special effects.
It does have a special effect.
Well, it's not as nice as the. I wish they can combine the two effects. I love the ripple effect coming out of Timebreaker.
Well, too bad, so sad. Still though, as far as these lanes are concerned, if you have 1-2-3, 3-2-1, and Shanks here, you do have a lot of ways to lock down movement, but not too many ways to actually get a kill early on. Going to be looking for pretty much a lucky bash, if anything.
Look at that line.
And we have Team Druckwelle with an immediate smoke, and they go for the safer route going around this way. And it looks like they might actually find out a Bane, and they do indeed. And Shank just in a horrible spot. Last word, going to be able to polish him off if nothing else will. And there's that easy first blood. So once again, Druckwelle playing very nice, and this time coming out to an early lead. So just basically turning things around, doing quite nicely for themselves already. And who actually got that first blood? The Puck, meaning he is going to be having a nice time mid. Almost has enough for a bottle already.
Yeah, Druckwelle, they just love doing this level 1 smoke gank. But they've played it to such high efficiency. Like, Puck, every time he's going to get a fast bottle. Silencer, every time he's going to get 2 intelligence. So yeah, they're off to a great start. A little bit of misplay from top 5. Shanks, which is too busy chasing down Trians, is like, no, you're not gonna be around. You're not gonna block my camps. Instead, he meets 5 heroes and gets shredded.
Oh well, if I want one thing to happen in this game, Micho, I don't care how it pans out really, but I want Bane to pick up a Blink Dagger, because I'm not sure if you know, but they recently added that that Blink Dagger response to him when he picks it up, and it is just lovely.
Really? No, I'm not aware.
Oh, it's so good. Hopefully he does it, and hopefully I can get that sound going. Whew, here's hoping. But
if he
either
doesn't,
way,
tell me at the end of the game.
All right, I will. I'll bet. I'll link it to you when everything is said and done. You have Miffy. He gets to be really greedy right now because of these lanes. You have Wrong, obviously. Not going to be able to kill Subarc as soon as he gets Rage, of course, so not too bad there. It looks like you have Marky getting zoned out a little bit by 3-2-1, but these Trents are enough to pile on the damage on this little disruptor. So, and then Bane trying to basically make something happen in the mid, and knowing that Cupid got that, or Cupe I should say, getting that early bottle, opted to try and make life a little bit harder for him with the Enfeeble, but still, you're not going to be getting as much out of this map as a jungling Crystal Maiden with Frostbite. I mean, Team Druckwelle, they are playing right now mighty greedily.
Oh man, after this game, I'm gonna go buy Battle Fury. It just looks way too good. Oh, I'm just literally staring at it. Mid, Bane Elemental came to help out a little bit. Shanks, what I realized about top 5 is they love to do their stacks, and Bane, he's just gonna sit at mid, put on the Enfeeble on Buck so he can't last hit, and then just stack up. Be curious to see who's going to be taking this stack though. Would it be the Timbersaw, or they're going to leave it for, say, a Battle Fury Faceless Void?
I don't know. I feel like Faceless Void, the days of give me a Battle Fury, let me farm for 30 minutes, and then I'll crush a team Faceless Void, doesn't really pan out too much anymore. Usually they try to get something a little bit more A little bit
Shanks,
faster. Looks
he's
like
in a
Wrong
great
getting caught
position.
out in the top, maybe.
wants-
Is in a heap of trouble. Silenced as well. Can he Timber Chain out of this? Just barely gets out of the way. That reactive armor really helping him out there. And it looks like no kills going either way. Marky quite low, but of course, going to be having a better time regenning than 3-2-1 will. Just able to TP home, pick up a TP, and get right back into the lane. Having a pretty nice time there. And, I mean, like we were saying, Druckwelle playing quite greedily. And they absolutely can. I mean, Dwork It Baby very strong against Timbersaw with the last word. Make sure he can't escape. And Nature's Prophet having a pretty alright time on the bot lane. Not doing too badly by any means. I suppose Wrong, though, is, of course, getting a little bit more out of this lane. But, of course, you have Crystal Maiden doing what she does best in the jungle as well. So not too bad in that way either.
Yep, so both lanes working out quite nicely. But Burkett Baby, he can zone out Timbersaw easily. He has everything he needs. The Glaive of Wisdom as well as Last Word to just constantly pile on damage. Whereas, well, both carries, they're getting the farms they need, last hitting very nicely. But sometimes it just feels like whenever you're up against the Nature's Prophet, you don't know if those last hits, are they from Treants or are they going to be from like the creeps, unless you look at the net worth.
What's it telling you?
Oh, okay. It's telling me it's all creeps.
Yeah.
So no chance so far.
Well, I mean, it doesn't
is
really
good.
make any sense for them to try and take down the Trents this early on. It doesn't seem to really do too much. Miffy now giving Puck a little bit of extra rune control. He's got to be enjoying that. But, of course, the rune is bought. It's a double damage as well. So, Marky going to be able to pick that up, or will he? Shanks trying his very best to get in there as well. This is going to be close. If Cube can find anything, it looks like Shanks, though, in a bit of trouble as well. Timbersaw does find a Crystal Maiden all by herself in the jungle. Looks like Dwork It Baby there to help out, but not quite enough. And Shanks able to pick up that double damage rune, meaning that Puck not going to be having as strong a time in lane. Thought maybe Cube would have gone for the kill, but against double damage, you just do not want to fight that. And so sorry for everybody paying attention, missing that kill up top. But I thought maybe a Puck might get one of her own.
Oh yeah, so Crystal Maiden was going to a rune spot, right? And then he got pincered by the Silence Invoker as well as the Timbersaw, so... Tornado, cold snap,
that thing
couple of right clicks, goodbye.
Does open up things for Invoker quite a bit in the mid lane, and now he's actually leading, has 5 denies, 20 last hits, not doing too badly. And yeah, like you're saying, Wrong in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Dwork It Baby and Salwark able to just tower dive this mercilessly, it looks like. And I mean, Last Word always able to make things quite difficult for him. And now with that, they're going to get quite a nice bit of damage on this tower. You have Crystal Maiden pulling the creep wave away to make sure that that doesn't go very well. And of course, you always have the possibility of Marky showing up, trying his very best to make things happen. And man, my Miffy really does know where to go. Just runs around this and makes sure that he gets out of there. Looks like Invoker can't quite get there in time. Doesn't throw down to the Tornado as well. And so they do get a nice bit of damage onto this tower. Not the end of the world by any means. And Wrong, this Timbersaw not having the best of times in this lane against a Silencer. That Silence just absolutely destroys him.
Oh, that was such a smart move from Miffy. He realized, hey, the mid-solo Invoker, he's gone from the lane. He's like, okay, time to get out. Because if he kept on walking, then he would be completely stuck. And that would have been another death for the hero.
Ooh, it looks like Fly trying to make something happen on Cube. Got a regen. There's the Tornado. No phase shift out of that one. Actually was still on cooldown, however, but the Silence going to be enough to make sure Fly does not get any kill. Would have just been a little bit of cold snap and pot shotting, but not too much coming out of that one. And so far, a very passive game from both lineups right now. Marky not doing too many TPs in by any means, and everybody just sticking to their lanes. Almost no rotations coming out of anybody. Shanks trying his very best to make life a little bit harder for Puck in the mid lane, but beyond that, I mean, basically both teams just happy to let the opposing people farm.
Oh, this is gonna be really entertaining at mid game. There's so many possibilities that can happen. So many combos from both teams. It's gonna get ridiculous. It's gonna go out of control.
Oh yeah, and I mean, it feels like once top 5 get a few BKBs, or I shouldn't say top 5, once Team Druckwelle gets a few BKBs, it looks like top 5 gonna be falling off almost entirely, I feel like. Most of their damage is obviously that, and Fly, though, able to do a little bit nicely in this lane, is able to zone out the Puck now, But I mean, still very, very even as far as last hits and denies. And so far, this game has just not been going anywhere. Right now, Dworkit Baby looks like he's trying to find Wrong. Wrong in a horrible spot. He needs to be so scared right now. Dworkit Baby finally does find him. Where is that last word? Finally is used. Gonna be silenced, but of course, runs the correct direction, feeling, you know what, this is not where I want to be. Marky is here finally. There, Timber Chain's the way out. No Trent blocking this time around, not like yesterday. And Wrong, he makes the right decision, doesn't go down, back onto his lane and try and get through that way, because of course Crystal Maiden lying in wait, not to mention a lifestealer as well. And now Fly actually dangerously low in the mid because of that Nature's Prophet ult. Wrong trying his best to soak up experience and see if he can't maybe get a deny on this tower, but with no fortification down, can't really do too much. Doesn't quite land that Timber Chain, doesn't really matter, and Wrong can't do a single thing to stop this push by any means.
Yeah, that was just some good plays from Wrong though. Good map awareness, sees that the Crystal Maiden has circled around the back of the creep wave, instantly rotates to the right side, made all the right calls, got back to the lane, but sadly he couldn't defend the tower alone, and the supports from top 5 just didn't make the rotations. Also, I don't think those rotations would have really mattered, made a difference. But now that they're smoked up, they're going for the pincer of their own, and this is what I like to see from a lot of teams. When you have 2 creep wave pushing into the tower, this is a great time to find the offlaner and pick him off. But Nature's Prophet gonna go and defend the offlane. Nope, yeah. He's just safely in base.
Yeah,
he has a QB score though. He might. Oh man, this is just brilliant. Like discipline, man. When you see the supports are missing, they even pinged it out. Did they have vision just now?
I don't know, but he finally has showed up. But of course, now the creep wave isn't there.
They did.
They need to be very careful, however. And I mean, it seems like a little bit. It seems a little apparent to me, at the very least, that they were trying something, because they're nowhere to be seen on the map, and they have been babysitting this void all game long. And let me eat my own words a little bit, Mito, because I was gonna say, a lot of Faceless Voids, they've been going for a more mid-game oriented build, a little bit of nice early game aggression with one time walk, because it's a lot lower of cooldown, and then getting some big chronos. It looks like Crystal Maiden and Subarc and Cube finding an Invoker kill, and ouch, that's gotta be hurting him right now. And it looks like Cube just continuing to get more and more, ever so slight of a lead over this Invoker. He's got a couple kills to his name right now. But I was gonna say, most Faceless Voids opting not to go just straight farming Battle Fury, but I guess if you have the item, you're going to be running it, and that's exactly what he's doing. So that worries me a little bit, because the longer and longer this goes on, obviously, I just really expected top 5 to put on the pressure with their lineup. You have that mid-game Timbersaw, you have Chrono into Static Storm once you have 6, and not to mention Invoker with some good initiation with the Tornado in a little bit. And it just looks like they're happy to make Faceless Void farm up all day long and make this a very passive game. And now that Lifestealer's picked up a Midas, he's going to be going tit for tat and maybe even come out ahead, simply because Druckwell's going to be taking way more towers early on.
Well, I'm not too worried about top 5's late game. They have all the heroes that can deal with late game scenarios. I mean, even Bane Elemental, man, if you get that hero a lot of farm, he gets a BKB Aghanim Deep Stick Refresher, you can do ridiculous things. Sure, we're most likely never gonna get there, but I mean, all the heroes, Faceless Void, that hero essentially with the amount of farm he's getting, is so close to that Battle Fury.
It's like Fly trying to make something happen. Wrong though, in a heap of trouble. Ooh, melts immediately, and now Fly with no tower there as well needs to be very careful right now. Does have one Invoke available. Where is that Ghost Walk? Doesn't want to pop it just yet. Wants to try and save it. Now 3-2-1 throws down a kinetic field that is just not landing on anybody. As that's happening, Fly not too sure what he's doing there. Not going to be able to attack or cast spells for quite some time, but going to be safe nonetheless. And it looks like Druckwelle still just commanding this game, having a much better early game. And obviously you do have Faceless Void, who is just basically free farming, going to be getting a Battle Fury and going to increase his farm quite a lot that way, but your mid game is going to suffer tremendously because of it.
I just feel like Faceless Void, it doesn't matter what build you're going for, whenever you have an ultimate, right, and there's an opportunity to jump in and help your teammate, like just now at top, he could just pop a Chrono, help his team kill Subarc. Oh, and at mid, Cube with that Blink Dagger picks up the Invoker. I guess he wasn't anticipating that Cube will have a 12-minute Blink Dagger. Something he didn't see and just end up getting punished for it.
And not only that, 12-minute Blink Dagger plus a bottle. and 1,400 gold, and so he didn't even have to use all of it. Now he's got a haste rune, he's got a lifesteal in him, using up all those bottle charges to try and make something happen. And now once again, wrong, just continually in the wrong place at the wrong time. Marky almost melting immediately, but with that subarc in that puck, there's the chrono that you wanted. And 1, 2, 3, where are those lucky bashes? Doesn't get a single one. Things not going his way. Fly can't do too much now. Silence forever. 3, 2, 1 is finally here. Needs to find a glimpse on somebody. They do finally find a Cube, and I don't see him getting out of this one. There's the Static Storm. Has to be used on only one to guarantee a kill. They need to find whatever sort of pickoffs they possibly can, because they are playing from behind, my friend. Looking at this gold graph, 5,000 gold in favor of Team Druckwelle right now. Almost 6,000 experience in favor, so top 5, they need to make some plays happen. And with this farming Void, he has finally finished up that Battle Fury, so he's going to be able to clear these waves fairly quickly. But still, though, they're going to need to open up this map a little bit and give him some space. What is it, my friend?
This faces Void. He maxed time walk first. I don't entirely agree with this build. Because normally, like, I would understand he has 2 levels in time walk, but I just feel like the time lock is way too good to give up. Primarily, I like to max time lock, but I mean, if you're worried that you can't catch heroes, right? Generally, 2 levels in the time walk early game should be enough.
I don't even think it's that.
Just level 1 is slightly too short.
I just, like, he's gotten his Battle Fury, he's been happy to sit and farm all game, and like you said, has gotten pretty much no points in time lock, no points, or at least just 1 point in backtrack, because obviously it's the most efficient one. As I say that, it looks like we do have a 5 push going into the mid. Not too sure if they can defend it, pretty sure they can't. And with that, I mean, they need to be really careful here. Fly way too far forward, not too sure what he's doing there. Silenced immediately, looks like that freezing field going down, and Fly just feeding Team Druckwelle kills. Wrong, can't do too much. Where's the TP coming in from the Void with that chrono? Needs to set something up. Bane can't quite do too much, and now it looks like a sleep does go on Dwork It Baby, but nothing too much coming from it. 1, 2, 3 doesn't actually have chrono available just yet. Finally does. Gonna be interested to see if he does make it over there. Has a TP available, but now with that, it looks like Team Druckwelle happy to take a tower, just leave completely. But what I was gonna say is that Faceless Void, I think one of the reasons he's gotten time walk is because he is pretty much expecting and happy to go ultra late game. And just having time walk maxed out, meaning he's almost never gonna fall, he's almost never gonna die, and that's what he's most worried about, is getting picked off, making sure that he can farm the entire game and go from there, because he basically already has foregone any mid-game pressure with getting no points in time walk, no points in time lock, getting no Mask of Madness, and going for a Battle Fury. So why not go ultra late game and just make sure you live?
I
mean, I still don't.
I cannot. I just can't agree.
I was gonna say I still don't agree with it, but I mean, he is getting a stack now, so I guess that's where the stacks are going. And obviously, Disruptor caught out in the jungle, couldn't do anything against these 5, and yeah, you have your Faceless Void farming all day long. That's real nice, but he's gonna start losing out on where he can actually farm in this map. All of the tier 1s still standing, of course, for Druckwelle. They've taken all the tier 1s of top 5. Once again, Fly way too far forward. Not too sure what he's doing there. And now with Marky here to throw down a couple little right clicks and a sentry going down by Miffy. I mean, Fly is just consistently out of position in this game.
They need to play some 5-man Dota. Whenever they have the Void, group up as 5, go for that 5-man fight. Let the Chronosphere initiate, man.
Now it looks like Disruptor getting caught out by Cube. He's got a haste. You can't do a single thing. Pops that wand to try and get him. Looks like he tried to disrupt him, or I should say glimpse him. Couldn't do it. Fiend's Grip does come down to finish the job, however, and Global Silence used ever so slightly too late. Might have been able to save his buddy, but Global Silence actually hasn't had to been used pretty much this entire game. I think that's the first time, isn't it?
Yeah, you still gotta wait for Faceless Void to have his BKB before he can actually do something. If the Silencer has quick hands, right, the moment you see the time walk, boom, instant global, then it's really, really awkward as a Faceless Void going in and not having Chronosphere.
Oh yeah, it's not able to do anything, and now it looks like Druckwelle happy to take a little bit of a cheeky Roche, a little bit of a hidden Roche, and of course, with no vision at all coming out of top 5 around the Roche pit, their warding is not doing very nicely right now, just with how scared 3-2-1 is of moving around anywhere. He's been getting picked off pretty much any single hero except possibly Silencer, because he doesn't have a way to chase him, or Crystal Maiden can take him out all by their lonesome, so he needs to be very careful here. But looks like no, Druckwelle not actually taking the Roche, seeing if they could, but deciding against it. Now they finally do have some Roche vision, but I don't know. It just doesn't. It really don't have that much vision going on. Trying to basically just guarantee that this Faceless Void can farm with these wards that they have right now, and now he's not even in the bot lane anymore. They need to start stacking up these Ancients for sure to make sure that Faceless Void becomes a one-man wrecking crew.
Yeah, right now it's the gold graph and XP graph has just been a landslide. And
once again, Invoker, Fly, just feeding Team Druckwelle constantly out of position once again, and so sorry everybody. I just don't expect them to be, don't expect this Invoker to be up against 4 heroes, and that's gonna mean they know that the Tornado's down, no EMP of course, and that's gonna be a free Roche for them as well. Faceless Void, he is nowhere around the Chrono.
Build. It hasn't paid at all, like so far. Every time he used the Chrono, right, he hasn't been able to do anything for his team, and this Roche is just going down so fast. They're aware of it, but Faceless Void, his rotations are late, and now that the Roche is gone, Druckwelle, they don't even care if you have Chrono. They're gonna go in, and who are you gonna aim? You don't aim the Lifestealer. Once the Chrono ends, then he's gonna turn around, become like a one-man wrecking crew. Yeah, I mean, Midas, Armlet, Face Boots, 18.5 minutes in, well 19 minutes now. It's quite good, man.
Ooh, they have found Marky though. Gonna make something happen. Faceless having to use that Chrono just to make sure that Marky doesn't get out of there. And like you're saying, when he does Chrono, yeah, he gets some nice right clicks with the Battle Fury. He does do quite a bit of damage with each hit, but beyond that, I mean, he really isn't attacking fast enough to try and lock anybody down. Looks like Fly getting a little bit of mana from EMP in the mid, but nothing too much coming of it. And yeah, it just feels like this Faceless really does need an obscene amount of attack speed to his name to make anything really happen. He's getting closer and closer to that BKB, so he'll be able to continue in fights after Chrono wears out. But once that does happen, if they haven't killed Subarc by that time, I just feel like Lifestealer is going to eat this Void alive.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see some alacrity come out from Invoker to pump the Faceless Void's attack speed slightly more. But Invoker being so under-leveled, he's level 10 in, what, 20 minutes. He doesn't have very much to offer for his team. The EMP, very little mana burn, 325. And, I mean, even, let's take, even a support silencer has over 1k mana pool as of now. So, those EMPs, they're gonna do very minimal amount for his team.
Yeah, just not really doing too much. And now with a Basher on Subarc, it just feels like he's going to be able to man mode against this Faceless Void. He's got pretty much the same amount of damage, base plus damage, obviously, as the Faceless. So he's not winning in the damage department. And of course, you're going to be having Subarc winning tremendously in the speed department as far as just attacking goes. Not to mention, he now has his own way to bash, and Feast combined. It just feels like Faceless Void, he's gone for this incredibly late game farming build, and he's actually just not getting as much out of this map as the Lifestealer by any means. And if we look at the net worth, that's exactly true. The Lifestealer is only about 130 behind him, despite not going such a late game build, and he's already come online. He's been aiding in team fights, and it just feels like the Lifestealer is just doing much nicer at the moment.
Yeah, but then again, Lifestealer has what? How many tower advantages and a Roshan on top? So Faceless Void, he is farming faster in the sense that he's just farming away. But yeah, like you said, Lifestealer has been much higher impact. And one of the big reasons why people shifted away from Battlefield on Faceless Void is because his time lock got buffed. The bonus damage is nice, and then if you get it inside the Chronosphere, that's twice the amount. 140 damage early on, it's no joke. That's why people go for other items. You go for Massive Madness, Mjolnir, S and Y, just anything to pump up that attack speed, and play Void as a mid-game hero. And if Void was there in like every single fight with those Chrono Initiate, it's so easy for the rest of his team to do the follow-ups. They have great follow-up heroes. Wrong being a great Timbersaw, like, I mean, You got Timber Chain, you got Chakram, you can just throw those out within the Chrono. And then that would be the easiest EMP for Fly, and then you've got the Static Storm to follow up.
Oh yeah, and now
Chrono
a smoke
Split
going
into
down. It
Static
looks like
Storm.
Fly
Down the
and
bottom.
Wrong just completely caught out, both of them. Fly gets put to sleep, doesn't really matter. Both of them going to fall for pretty much nothing. And a nice little smoke coming out of Druckwelle there. Looks like for sure, though, that top 5 could have seen it coming. The courier had to cross this ward with a smoke in his pocket, and then he left without one. So not too sure what they were doing. Pretty much in front of the tower by any means. Seems just to be out of position constantly. And once again now, looks like that lifesteal are going to be in the puck, and they can just continue on with this push. They can just continue on and force these issues, and I mean, Marky, all he needs to do is go down the mid, force that one, take an easy tower, and then this gold graph going to go even more in their favor. There's that big ult, going to make sure that 3-2-1 can't do a single thing, but of course the BKB going to make sure that that doesn't happen exactly. Wrong, that Chrono finally doing a little bit of work for them, finally does put Subarc to sleep, not too sure what they're doing, and the Faceless Void actually putting himself to sleep, and that is a big little misplay there, right, I gotta say. Subarc, though, finally going to be falling. It's just an Aegis pop, but with nobody there to help him, it looks like he is guaranteed to be falling, like, right now. And Subarc doesn't have any Infest available, so at the very least, top 5 getting some good kills out of that one, only losing a Disruptor, but whew, I mean, at what cost, right? They lost a tower, they lost some, what did they lost Invoker and Timbersaw before everything was said and done. At the very least, Faceless Void finally doing something in these matches, though.
Yeah, I guess it's still not worth it. You look at the gold graph and net XP, it's still so far in Druckwelle's favor. It's still a long road ahead for Faceless Void before he can actually fully carry on his team. And I still don't think he can piggyback.
Oh yeah, no.
Like this, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It just seems like a losing battle, and what I originally thought was going to be 3 core heroes with some farm priority going the way of Faceless Void has now basically just turned into 4 Protect 1, it looks like, and especially if you look at the net worth, you see that Faceless Void, sure, he's leading by about 1,300, now only about 1,000 above the Lifestealer, so nothing too grandiose or large by any means. But then the next 4 farm spots are held by Team Druckwelle, and then your Timbersaw and Invoker, they actually have less farm than this support Silencer, and just to see that, it looks from the net worth like a 4 Protect 1, even though that's not what it was supposed to be, and I mean, that's pretty damning, and you don't need to feel very comfortable with that at all. Ooh, nice little Chrono, but it's only on to Cube, so not doing too well, and of course, you do have a Static Storm going down now as well. Subarc is here, pops everything he possibly can, but 1-2-3, like I was saying, can't really man fight without any of his teammates there as well. Right away, we have a buyback coming out, and it looks like he is here right in time. Whew, Cube getting there with that Boots of Travel to make sure he can see and do whatever he possibly can. Fly can't aid too much there, and that was, I mean, obviously not the best Chrono by any means. Static Storm was used just on 1 as well, so they have these big team fight ults, and they're just not executing terrifically right now. And with that, I mean, this is gonna be, does anybody have buyback? I should look. Faceless does, obviously doesn't want to use it.
Invoker.
Ooh, Invoker once again in a heap of trouble. And it looks like Wrong now in a tough spot as well, but you just have Cube doing a huge amount of work right now. He's got Dagon, he just blinks around doing everything, and it looks like this is gonna be Rax for sure.
Yeah, and so just a little note on the side, I suppose. Actually, let's wait for the fight to draw out first before I go into the boring mathematical
Shanks
crap.
gets asleep, doesn't matter, forces Subarc away, so they get the racks, at the very least the racks that matters, and now everybody coming in. It looks like Dwork It Baby trying his very best to make something happen. QP is obviously here though. 1-2-3 is back, has to use that BKB once again. No time locks coming out. A little bit unfortunate for him, and now finally you do have Invoker coming in. Druckwelle though continuing up that push, trying to make sure they get an entire lane of racks, it looks like, and then Shanks doing what he can do, but of course just doesn't have any farm at all. Can only brain sap a little bit. EMP goes down, does land on a few, but it's obviously not going to be enough. Does take out quite a bit of Subarc's mana, but he doesn't seem to really really care. And now a glimpse back actually onto Subarc. Very important here. Fiend's Grip goes down, and of course there is no global silence. Cupid, though, just within range to get that coil. A nice little bit of chrono there. Actually does catch Cupid and Subarc just on the sides of it. And now looks like they static. Isn't quite enough because, of course, you can... what is it? Illusory or ethereal jaunt while you are phase shifted. So a little bit of an unfortunate static storm, but Marky actually picks up a Dagon 3, going full Dagon, and looks like they're just trying to get as much burst as possible, because if they can burst down Faceless Void and Backtrack happens to not land, he really doesn't have too many good ways to just continue fighting.
Oh, he's got Massive Madness now, so that's gonna be... yeah, that Massive Madness is the fastest increased attack speed item in the game. Gives you plus 100. Next, followed by Mjolnir, and then what's it? Butterfly, Curious, whatnot.
Oh yeah,
but
there's quite a bit.
If you're purely farming, say if you're in the shoes of Faceless Void, right? One of the simple ways, like disregarding towers, whatnot, to know if you're doing pretty well as a carry is you just do a simple math. You divide the number of minutes like you're in the game, right? Say like 28 minutes right now, and you divide it by like you just gotta divide it, and then eventually, if you're getting 7 last hits per minute, you're doing a good job as a pure farming carry. In terms of last hitting, like we're only talking about last hitting, not talking about like say making an impact on the game. If you just want to know how well you farm, then anything above 7 is pretty decent for a carry.
So that's pretty much what he's sitting at as well right now. So he is doing none too bad. But I mean, one question that comes to my mind is, it looks like Fly might be in a heap of trouble. Cube throws it out on a Illusory Orb. Not too sure why he's not engaging onto Fly. Maybe they think it's a bait. Does find a Miffy, but I mean, you do have Marky here with this Dagon 3. What are they going to do? 1, 2, 3. Immediately silence. Pops the BKB. Chrono on only the Crystal Maiden. Not too good there. Cube now caught out. Marky able to run away as well. And it looks like they just can never find Cube. And they finally do, but it doesn't really matter. And so, I mean, a Chrono, not really the end of the world, because it doesn't have the longest of cooldowns by any means. But still, well, not what you want to use it on.
It was a Chrono plus a Static Storm. That's definitely not who you want to use it on. Perhaps well, I guess he couldn't do anything because there was an Orchid on Nature's Prophet. But I mean, as soon as he pops a BKB, he should have been able to catch both heroes within the Chronosphere, and then it might have been worth it to kill the Nature's Prophet. But with so many Dagons coming out, man, and you're gonna have a Mask of Madness on a Faceless Void, unless you get lucky with those backtracks, right? You can imagine the amount of burst coming out.
Oh yeah, he is just absolutely gonna melt. And I mean, I understand the Mask of Madness obviously gives them pretty much the most increased attack speed for gold efficiency in the game. But I mean, my question is, if you are gonna get Mask of Madness, why don't you get it earlier? You get more points in time lock. You can contribute to the game in the mid game, like we were talking, and then to end up getting it after farming just non-stop anyways, it feels like, why don't you just get that one first?
Because he wants to flash farm. Because he wants to farm. That's what happens when you want to farm. You gotta give up some aspects of the game, and he's chosen to give up the early game fighting potential. But I mean, that's why you see builds on Loda where he goes for like Midas first, then Treads, Massive Madness, Mjolnir, like not even upgrading to Mjolnir, just like a Maelstrom, and you're battle ready, like you're combat ready. And then the next thing you do is like you upgrade a BKB, get some of those deeps, and then you're Faceless Void who makes impact throughout each stage of the game.
Oh yeah, 1, 2, 3. I mean, he has picked up a Chrysalis now, gonna make things a little bit more damaging at the very least. But this is the thing: is if he doesn't get some key targets in those Chronos and he pops Mask of Madness, you just have Nature's Prophet waiting for him, just constantly to Orchid, Dagon him, not to mention Cube as well. Throws the Chrono, oh, does get a Subarc, and I mean, when you're going tit for tat and you take a carry with a Chrono, that's always a fair trade, and I mean, just Team Druckwelle probably doesn't want to really push in without that lifestealer there. They do pop a smoke, and now realizing that things are a little bit too far forward. 1, 2, 3. Time walks right in there. There is, oh, he's a pig now as well. Where is it? And he just absolutely melts. And I mean, like you're saying, he's just not battle ready. Like you're saying, Loda does it fine. He gets pretty much battle ready, can make an impact throughout the game. Still, even this late, 32 minutes in, without a chrono, I mean, yeah, he can still fight a bit, but he didn't have BKB there either, it looked like, and just completely caught out. And because of it now, it looks like they're going to lose another Rax, and yes, indeedy, they only have one buyback, and that's the Bane. And, I mean, what sort of impact is he going to have here?
I don't know. He might be able to sleep a hero or two. Oh, fly.
Invoker throws out a tornado, but I mean, you can't stop this push, and this is going to be another lane of Rax. You don't have a chrono available. Shanks can do his very best. Ooh, eats an orchid, or not an orchid, I should say, eats a big Dagon hit. Doesn't really matter though, and now they are just feeding, and I wouldn't be surprised if a GG comes out. This just feels, it just feels horrible. And now wrong, he's a pig, he's got at least a little bit of armor, doesn't matter, immediately melts to everything. 3, 2, 1, gonna die as well. Oh my god, just the Dagons coming out, and there's the GG, and the well played. Team Druckwelle gonna be going to the finals, I don't know about once again, I believe they did it at the very least once. And there you have it, folks, Team Druckwelle coming out ahead in this first semifinals. Whew. Whew. Not the most eventful game, huh, Mito?
Yeah. I just feel like they had a good idea, top 5. Could have executed better, I suppose, but that's what every team does, right? They constantly improve and get better. Hopefully, they will reflect on this game and continue on next week to surprise us.
I mean, here's hoping. We'll see how it all goes, obviously, and yeah. So don't go too far away, everybody. There should be some more semifinals coming up between Division Game Club and Bananas in Pajamas, which is
oh, by the way.
Yeah, was it what?
Silencer had 36 intelligence stolen, for those of you guys who are wondering, and he had enough money to buy up a sheep stick at the end as well.
Ooh, man. So that is one rich support silencer there. And yeah, so like I was saying, everybody, don't go anywhere. Thank you, of course, for tuning in to the ESPL Weekly Series number 5. I've been Briefcase, bringing you this cast along with the handsome Mito. And oh, I'm just looking at Invoker's kill death assists, and oh, that is a rough time to be an Invoker. But like I was saying, don't go anywhere. We'll be having another semifinals best of 3 coming up shortly. So we'll see you then.